Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. We are ending week 2 of social isolation. I don't know why I can't say that word properly. I hope y'all are doing well and staying healthy and keeping at home as much as you can and only going out when you have to, not congregating at the pool or Barton Springs pool. I know it's hot outside, but we've got to do our part to keep away from people. I've been doing great on my runs all by myself. My social isolation runs, which is nothing new for me. I've been running alone for 30 years now, so I've still been able to get out and enjoy that. But other than that, I haven't left the house in over a week, cooking everything at home, eating what I've got, and making do. And I hope y'all are doing the same and enjoying this, and I hope y'all are getting something out of these videos. So I wanted to follow up on the video I did on Monday, where we went into a little bit more detail on manual mode on the camera. I had a few questions and then wanted to show some examples of things I did. So first of all, I wanted to explain, I was asked what this little dial was on the cameras. It's a diopter, and so if you're not wearing your glasses or contacts, you can adjust for your eyes so it doesn't look blurry through the viewfinder. However, if you're wearing your glasses or contacts, don't mess with it because it'll look blurry. And don't mess with it in general. It only adjusts for so much. So if you have really bad eyes, it's not going to adjust for you. So the other day I talked about ISO and shutter stop and f-speed and how they relate, and how you want to keep it to the lowest ISO you can. Also, if you follow me on social media, I introduce y'all to my models. I have Alpi and my Kauai chicken, and I use them for an example tutorial to introduce you to them and show you f1.4 stop and the background blur and everything I was talking about. I took a few more pictures that day too of them, and I have them up on the computer screen, and I'm going to show you how they are. I changed the f-stop, but I kept the shutter speed the same, therefore the images got darker, and I'll show you on the computer how you can, how if you adjust the f-stop, you would adjust the shutter speed the same amount in the other direction, to keep the exposure identical. The very first one I did at proper exposure. If you look through the viewfinder of your camera, on the very bottom, there's a bunch of little hash marks, and those are your exposure marks. So right in the middle is your perfectly exposed image. If you go off this way, you're underexposed, darker images. If you go this way, you're overexposed, brighter images. If you keep it in the middle, that's where proper exposure according to your camera is. And there are also different exposure or metering modes on your camera. And we'll talk more in depth. There's so much that goes into this, guys, and we have time on our hands, so I hope y'all are getting something out of this and paying attention, but we can go more in depth on that too, on the different kinds of metering modes in your camera. I tend to ignore mine these days, but it's a good place to start. And once you figure things out, you can go from there. So let me flip the screen around and show you my computer screen to show you what I'm talking about as far as things go. Hold on, can I? Okay, I'm back, and I flipped the screen around, and this picture was taken the other day when I took the pictures to introduce you to Alpi and my Kauai chicken. So this was taken at f1.4, 1/400th of a second, and I kept my ISO at 100. This one, you can see, is a little bit darker than the one before. Properly exposed, a little bit darker, according to my meter. Like I said, that can change. This is f2, 1/400th of a second, and ISO 100. And then if you go to the third image, and it's darker still, we're at f2.8 and 1/400th of a second, same ISO 100. You can see how they went from, dark, got lighter, darker, whatnot. So each one's a stop difference. So had you adjusted your shutter speed from 400 to 320, basically one stop, it would have brightened up your image, and it would have been on par with the first image. One stop difference, one stop difference. This one was 2 stop differences. So if you would have adjusted your shutter speed to 1/200th of a second, or a 2 stop difference, I'm adjusting the stops manually here in camera raw, but you see what I'm talking about. So now all 3 exposures are exactly the same, just the f-stop's different. So also as far as f-stop, you can see how in focus Alpie's eyes are, but my Kawaii chicken, who's sitting a little further behind him, is blurry on that one. This one gets a little bit more in focus because we're at a not as shallow depth of field at f2, and then this one is f2.8, and you can see now Kawaii chicken is closer to the same plane as Alpie, and they're more in focus, less in focus, more in focus. You can see what I mean, and that's what I'm talking about there. Okay, I'm back on this side now. I hope that helped you understand a little bit more. Like I said, get out and play this weekend. You can do it inside if you have window light. You can go outside in the backyard. Don't go sitting around large groups of people. I don't recommend that right now. And play around with it. Like I said, you have aperture priority on your SLR, your digital SLR, or your mirrorless camera. You also have shutter priority. Aperture priority for me, because I tend to shoot that way, and wide open at 1.4 if I can get away with it, 2.8 if I have to go up that high. And you're just put your camera on that and go down as far as you can on your f-stop, or up as far as you can on your f-stop. And your camera will automatically adjust everything for you and keep your exposure the same, but you can see the blur in the background and how that changes. You can also put your subjects, my stuffed animals. Like I said, kids don't sit still for very long, so they're harder to use, but once you get this all figured out, start using your kids if you want to learn how to take pictures of people and stuff. But put one of your subjects in front of the other one, and you can really see the blur that way, and that'll help you figure out what I'm talking about that blur and everything. I think that's all for now. I will try to write more and give more tutorials as I think of things. I know there are a million things you can talk about and study with exposure, white balance, everything else, and we'll get more into that. We have plenty of time on our hands these days. I think we're going to be socially isolated for a good while. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to send me pictures of your gear, send them to me. I've answered plenty of questions that way. I'm here to help, and I want to help, and I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I will try to be back on Monday, if not sooner. I don't know what I'm doing these days, but I want to be here for you, so send me a message, leave something in the comments, let me know you're watching this, getting anything out of it. If you have any other questions, anything like that, and stay healthy, wash your hands, and have a great weekend, y'all. Bye.